Well, the third fight between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder lived up to the hype in so many ways. Both guys went blow for blow in an instant classic that finished with Fury emerging victorious after knocking Wilder to the mat in the 11th round. So, Shannon, scale of 1 to 10, how all-time great was this fight?
Skip, I think look, I can only go back to 68 when I started watching boxing. Probably I can go back to, born in 68, can probably go back to the late 70s. But Skip, for me, I say it's a top 5 trilogy because obviously Ali Frazier, when you think of trilogies, it starts and stops with that one. That if you have no other trilogies, Skip, that was it. That's it. The Ali. This one is so good.
You just gave me goosebumps because you can't even think of another.
You're right. Now, Skip, I don't know if you remember this, Marco Antonio Barrera and Eric Morales.
Yep.
2 of the 3 fights were Fight of the Years.
Yeah.
Evander Holyfield and Riddick Bowe. I know you remember that one. That was a slugfest. And Arturo Gatti and Mickey Ward. Wow. But, Skip, this one is I can't believe I'm saying this because when you think about it, one guy lost all of them. And you talk about this is a hit because of what it gave us. We talk about a guy that put the guy down twice in the second fight. It comes to a split draw. Many people believe Fury won that one.
The first fight.
The first fight.
Yes.
The second one, he dominated. Fury just dominated with no questions and no ifs. Go to the scorecard. That no card had Wilder even close. The third one, Wilder comes out aggressive. And then all of a sudden, Fury takes over, puts him down. And then you're like, oh, here we go again.
Yep.
And then out of nowhere, boom, Fury goes down, gets up, boom, goes down again. I say, oh, well, he got him now.
He got him.
And Fury says,
don't got him.
He ain't got him.
Nope.
Skip, it's something to be said. If you've been down before, no matter what, I'm not just talking about in sports, Skip. I'm talking about in life. If you've been down before, it's easier for you to get up, as opposed to never being down and getting knocked down and like, well, damn.
True.
Fury, having been down in the first fight, got up, let him know that being down in the third fight, I can get up again. And Skip, I've never seen anything like Tyson Fury. Skip, I mean, when you look at him, you like, ain't no, again, judging a book by its cover, don't do that.
Nope.
Because you look at this man, ain't no, you like.
Look at that. Look at the left picture. Look at the ripples.
Ain't no way he's supposed to be able to do this, but he's so skilled.
He's a fat man.
Skip, they can fight 20 more times, and Deontay Wilder will never beat Tyson Fury.
Agreed.
He has too many tools in his toolbox. Basically, the only thing that Wilder has in his toolbox is a hammer, and he's looking to land it. And
he tried to use a chisel, right?
Skip, but Skip, he was out of gas.
Yep.
He started breathing out his mouth in the second round.
He did, I agree.
How he managed to last to 11 rounds is just pure heart. Because Fury was able to catch a second win and then do damage from there out. But you know, Wilder started swinging wild. Fury catch him. You're already off balance, Skip. You know, if you're already off balance, somebody shove you, you're going to fall. Skip, this was a great fight because of the action. They gave us, it's very few times, Skip, we get the 2 best in anything, and then the fight lives up to the expectation. We saw Mayweather and Pacquiao. We believe they were the 2 best, but the fight didn't live up to what we had hoped it would be. Skip, I think everybody left this fight, whoever watched it, whoever was in the arena, I got my money's worth. I didn't get cheated.
Nope.
It's the top for me. It is, in my lifetime of trilogies, it's a top 5 for me.
Really? Okay, I got to deal with just Saturday night first. Scale of 1 to 10, I can't give this fight as a whole more than a 6 on all-time greatness, because the truth was, as much as I hate to admit it, that the bigger guy dominated the last 7 rounds of this fight, starting with round 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then put him down in 11. He just dominated. And to your point, Deontay Wilder came out looking great. His body looked great. He'd put on some muscle weight.
But he didn't need to, Skip.
Well, whatever. He got his mind right.
Yes.
I'm going to change my attack style. I'm going to use some jabs.
Right.
And then I'm going to hit him with all I got. And he'd been weight training and trying to increase what most people agree is the hardest punch in the history of boxing. Unfortunately, it's only with this.
Right.
And he threw it with all his might, as many times as he could throw it, until after the 4th round, he was punched out.
Yep.
And just on sheer will did he keep his feet until round 11.
I don't know how.
Sheer will, heart, guts, courage. And yet, let's go back to what this was. Where the classic happened was the flip of the script, the turnaround from round 3, as you said, right on schedule. He got tagged and he went down, and he just said, no, I'm going out on my shield. I'm going to shake this off, and I'm going to stand back up.
Right.
And he did, because he knew he was up against it in round 3. And then, to his almighty all-time credit, he gathered himself on the stool between round 3 and 4, and he came out and he put that big joker down, not once, he put him down twice. I am up screaming at my TV, finish him! You got him! I picked him on Friday, obviously, and I thought, again, I thought that the big guy was going to be 20 pounds heavier, but he only weighed in, I thought it was
I think it was 277 to, what was it, 273, 277, 279?
Yeah, well,
but it wasn't close to 20 pounds.
It wasn't even remotely close, because I thought 20, he's going to be in trouble.
That's what Sugar Hill, that's what his trainer said. Sugar Hill Stewart said he's going to be 20 pounds heavier.
Were they trying to deke him?
I guess they got it. They deked everybody, because I'm thinking he's going to be close to 300.
Okay, so did I. And yet he can carry his weight just fine, because he doesn't have any stamina problems. Okay, so in the 4th round, he is down, and he gets up, and then he goes down again, and he gets up, and I'm screaming to finish him, and finally he gets saved by the bell.
Right.
And I shook my head, and I eventually tweeted this. I think that guy on the right is an alien. Like, no human is like this, because you can't cut him.
Right.
You can't really hurt him.
Right.
You cannot knock him out. He is unknock-outable, right? You can't stop him, because he hit him with all of his might.
He hit him flush, too.
Twice. He got him twice as hard as you can throw, to the point.
Every other heavyweight he's knocked out, he ain't getting up.
He's knocked out. Any other human, to me, is knocked out. But that big joker,
he got up.
He just shakes it off. He's like The Undertaker. But we saw the first glimpse in round 12 of the first fight.
Correct.
When he dominated the fight, and it was a controversial split draw, and I still don't quite understand it, because I watched that fight, and I thought he won it fairly easily. But what was left in the judges' minds at the end, he got knocked down. And he resuscitated himself, He raised himself from the quote-unquote dead. And not only did he raise himself, when he shakes it off, he gets stronger. And after he shook off 2 knockdowns in the 4th round, he only got stronger and stronger. So Wilder is hanging on for dear life, starting in round 5. And I'm saying, just try to hit him. And he's throwing powder puff punch. You know, it's like
he's swinging wild. He's getting off balance.
He just and when he did hit him, he's just like just kind of stroking it, you know, like he's got nothing left.
Skip, man. You run. You know what it's like when you get tired. And you tell them, if I just keep going. And sometimes you just got to stop and put your hands. You know, when you get tired, you stop, Skip, and you put your hands on your knees, or you put your hands on your hip. Well, if you're boxing, you get tired, you can't drop your hands. Cause you leave. And what he was tired, look where his hands were. And Fury's like, oh my, I can't believe this joker is standing in front of me with his arm, with his hands that low.
Yeah, I think he felt a little sorry for him, and finally just said, I can't do this anymore. And by the way, what did the great Vince Lombardi say? Fatigue makes cowards of us all. And it wasn't that it made a coward of him, he just couldn't, he was summoning all the will that was left in his body just to stay upright. And he took some shots now.
There's too much muscle to carry around for an endurance sport like boxing. Skip.
Well, he thought he needed the muscle just to compete with how huge this man is. He's 6'9".
But here's the thing, Skip. The problem is that Tyson Fury is 6'9" and can carry 280, 290 with no problem.
No problem.
You normally fought at 225. You went up to 231, and then you go up another 7 pounds to 238. With that muscle, it takes oxygen to fuel muscle. Well, if you're an endurance sport, Skip, you bouncing around for 3 minutes. You don't need that. You should have stayed where you don't play a man's game. You don't try to beat him at his game. You beat him doing what you do. Okay, if he wants to go to 270, 280, have at it. I'm comfortable at 225. I'm going to stay in my lane. You trying to beat him at his game. He ran out of gas.
I've never seen anything like this.
How, Skip, I still don't know. He was breathing out his mouth in the second round.
But if you're Deontay Wilder, you think, I hate him as hard as I can twice. And what can I do?
Run. That was my granny used to say. Somebody bigger than you, hit him as hard as you can. If he don't fall, take off running. Well, he in the square, so he can't run.
And then I want to not like Tyson Fury, and then afterwards he's just so lovable.
It's Skip. He said I went over there when he's on the stool,
and I tried to.
And then DeMago said, "You don't respect him? How? He beat you fair and square."
And he said, "God's going to have to heal his heart,
soften his heart,
his heart, yeah." And by the way, he immediately, which is so foreign to what they're doing, he immediately thanks his Lord and Savior, Savior Jesus Christ.
Right.
And I'm thinking of my favorite Bible chapter, which is Isaiah 41, where God says, I will hold you in the palm of my victorious right hand. And it felt like that's what was happening. It's like God is saying, I will lift you up off the canvas.
Skip, I've seen these fights, Joshua, Usyk, Tyson Fury. I've seen all the heavyweights. If Fury prepares, if he's focused, nobody can beat him in that division.
No, and I was afraid he wasn't focused on this because he didn't want to fight the third fight.
Because he know he can skip, he know he can beat him.